right, so I'm having an off sewing day. I didn't want to take the day off, but I think the day took off for me. I was trying to make a, what is this called? A coaster. And when I do the final, I need to make sure I make a yellow bobbin so that the thread will be hidden. But anyway, and I started off okay, a little rough, because I'm learning this method. And then things just went awry with my machine. So I'm pointed in the right direction here to be going around, but I can't go any further because of my machine. So if my machine would sew for a day without messing up, then I would maybe be able to get more done. In that I've only got an hour of sewing time a day that I can actually do. So I tried for 45 minutes and it's just not fruitful, so I'm moving on. Oh, this is a 2.5, which is good. So I've been going through like all of my strips of leftovers, you know, because I'll get like strips here and strips there. So like this strip is a 1, a little over a 1, which is a good thing. To me, it's usable as a strip. That one is 1. This one's like just a little bit bigger than 1, so I can trim it down. But see, that's usable. I can use it for binding. I would have to chain it all together, but that's totally fine. But it is usable. But I'm trying to find all my 2.5s and group them, because what happens is a 2 and a 2.5 look very similar in size when you are sewing. And what has happened recently to me, this is a 2.5, is that on one particular quilt, I somehow used both 2 and 2.5 on the sashing. And I still have to take the whole quilt apart. I went ahead and quickly made another one out of the same fabric so I could get to the finish, but I couldn't figure out what was going on, and it ended up being that they were just different measurements, because they're 2 and 2.5. Yes, it's a 1/2 inch difference, but if it's mixed in and you're kind of like going through adding your sashing, it can get it can get wonky really fast. And so I'm taking the time today to go through every single strip I've got that I've cut away from things. See, that's a 2.5, that's good. So see, I've got sashing here for, you know, a future quilt, and I know that all of this is 2.5 thus far. And so I'm trying to take, maybe that's why it's not working out. God is really wanting me, I gotta seam rip that orange, because now I actually understand things. So I'm glad I did these mug rugs, because that's where I've been learning. All right, see, there's a 2. And if you're not careful, it is sitting, see, that's a 2. And if you just grab it, because, you know, it looks, or it's sitting there in the 2.5s, then bad things can happen, and measurements can get off very quickly, and you just wouldn't even know it. Now this one is ripped, so see, I'm not even going to get a 2 out of that. but around it is a little more than 2.5, so I could use it. I can use it for like squares. Two and a half. Two and a half. 2.5. 2.5. Okay, so see, that was a pile of white that was just piled up right there that I have now been able to deal with. Let's get my, put that over this. Hang on just a second. This is 2.5, no, this is 2. And these are 2.5. Yeah. All right, and then these go in a whole different stack of things. So I'm just gonna let's see, this is an active project, an active fix it, active project. All right, but I'm just in the process of learning. This is my oil rag. I would like to take, you know, a bunch of classes and things, but I don't have a car right now, and we're getting ready to get it fixed, but let's see. All right, there's that. Okay, so these will be sorted into bags of scraps, and they'll kind of be, anyway. Okay, so these I used on a baby quilt, but I have even more triangles here that I can use for other projects, which is awesome. And I will put them over here in my drawer here in a minute, where I keep triangles. That way I can do pinwheels, hourglasses, half blocks, and other items. Yeah. And then see, here are some half blocks I ended up not using on a particular project. So now I have some half blocks that are done that somewhere along the line I will be able to use. But anyway, so I will keep these in a particular pile of half blocks. And I'm trying to, I'll go through and size them all up correctly, all the same sizes and things. All right, and then I have half blocks that already have sashing on them, which is wonderful because these are just a quilt waiting to happen. But I've got more that I need to do, and then I'll figure out what size sashing this was, but well, I'll actually measure it from the back. And then, so see, this is a quilt in progress right here. These two just need the sashing, okay? So I'm getting, what are those things called? Stackable, You know for your desk, they're like letter trays. Letter trays would be very a blessing for me right here, because my little rotator thing, I can put it, you know, like right here. But I need 2 sets of stackable trays because my mug rugs, when they're in different process, you know, like if they're, I can have a stack of batting already pre-cut. I can have tops pre-cut, different colors of backing pre-cut. And then when it comes to doing the mug rugs, I already have like a mug rug organization station right there. So I'm excited about that, and I'll show you when I do that. It may not look like it during some of my videos, but I am actually an extremely organized person. Now the cool thing with this is I learned how to do a potato chip block, not perfect, but it is my first go around from working on a quilt for a friend. And then these I had left over. So hers are already like framed out, and they're on the shelf there with a purple border, waiting on sashing, backing, the batting, and the binding. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a twin size quilt waiting to happen, which is good because I'm getting ready to do start stocking my twin size battings. And I really love patchwork. I don't care if it's potato chip. I don't care if it is a and they all need to be trimmed up to make sure they're the same size, but that's okay. The potato chip and such, if it's an hourglass, or if it is a pinwheel, or if it is a whatever, okay, it is a quilt. It's already ready. It's got blocks. Okay, so on another day, I need to get the red, white, and blue, and I need to get the pinks quilt. And I have a baby quilt that has to be done like right now. And that's okay because I have the stuff to do it right now. But this one, because it's for my niece. No, let's see. Would be a grandniece. Maybe this is my no, it's my niece. It is, yeah, she would be my niece. I didn't know how to do this when all my other nieces were born, and during those times when those girls were young, I was going through multiple emergency surgeries and recoveries and life myself, and trying to raise my little girl and get her educated, that I lost track of who was being born, when, birthdays, anniversaries, and things like that, because I was doing everything I could just to get through the season, the long season that God had allowed in our lives. And see, here is a just a rogue red, white hourglass that I use these in my red, white, and blues. So I'm completing my first red, white, and blue, so that will then go to future red, white, and blues. And this is just goes on the Christmas pile. And see, here's just a strip of fabric that can be still used. I don't know what for. It'll probably be something, but that's totally usable. And then, ow. See this, my blade and my rotary cut, my electric saw cutter, it got dull and it started to rip fabric, which was so disheartening. And that's what actually put me behind on my Pinks quilt. It was actually, that's the saw blade going dull. All right, so what is this? Oh, this is exciting. So by the end of the week, bless my husband's heart, but I am working on my first king size, and it's for a family who's been through so much. And, you know, I don't know that I could push through some of the pain that I live in if I wasn't sewing to give people who are hurting or celebrating something very special in their life. It kind of gives me some type of a purpose beyond, you know, my daily. But anyway, so here is the beginning of their king size. Okay, I don't know how much you can see, but and I've got it doubled right now, so it's gorgeous. I love the blues. I'm doing sawtooth in the same fabrics, but anyway, so that quilt is over 109 inches without a border. It's about 109 wide. This person's husband is like Jolly Green Giant tall, and I know he's heard that his whole life, and I don't say that to hurt his feelings or to call him a name, but I mean, he's just that tall. So I knew that they would need nothing smaller than a king size quilt. And so I had to stop working on it. Well, first of all, I had to pull 2 blocks because I got my pattern off. And if you start with a pattern, you gotta kind of finish the pattern because it's very obvious that you're off on your pattern when you get off on the pattern. And so it got very obvious that I was off on my pattern. And okay, these are quilting pins, more pins, and bobbins. And I'm getting a set of drawers to go under my desk here so I can put these types of things in there, because as you can see, I have more bobbins accumulating and other bobbins that need to be refilled. Yeah, so one day a week I do catch-up bobbins so I can keep my bobbins full. And so once I have that set of drawers, I'm going to measure from the floor to the base of my thing. I may even get 2 sets of drawers, and then I pull one out while I'm sewing so that I can slide it out and take my serger that I'm getting and bring it down on top of the drawers so that I can serge something really quick, and then it gets stored back up there, and then the drawers, whenever I'm done for the day, both will slide under my table. Because we're in an apartment, so I'm trying to make it work and trying to make it look organized so it's not so cluttery. But you know, I don't have an income because of my disability, so I'm having to wait in between the steps because we're not borrowing money to do this. We do it on a budget each time that my husband gets paid. I'm filming, just FYI. And so anyway, I have additional rows already for the actual king size, right? The problem is I need that king size where I can see the pattern as I'm doing my rows. So here's another row that's completely done. Hopefully I didn't make any errors. So I thought, Lord, you know, I can't spread a king size out on the floor every day. 'Cause number one, I can't bend over to the floor all the time, and when I do, it's very difficult and I can fall because I'm a fall risk. And I have a bunch of I have the rest of the squares already. I bought them pre-cut because it takes some burden off of me for any quilt that I'm doing. Some I do cut, some I buy pre-cut. Okay, so back to this. So I said, Lord, you know, this isn't going to work for me like this. I have to be able to get to and to see what I'm doing as I'm doing it. Look, I'm finding all sorts of goodies as I'm talking. Here's some more half blocks I can put in my stash. Because sometimes you're just sewing and throwing, you know. And I said, Lord, how can I, you know, move forward on this, because I can't see it as I sew because, well, it's folded up. And the Lord laid on my heart, I kid you not, I was sitting here and he's, I noticed, let's see, you probably will notice when I show you my door, my glass doors, they don't have a curtain or a curtain rod. So I'm going to get this Wednesday a 155 to 170 inch set of, it's a heavy duty, it's like a 1.5 inch, no, it's a 1 inch rod, but it's heavy duty. I'm getting 2 of them, and I will show you later how I'm going to utilize them. I mean, you get 2 for $25. It's not like it's a bad investment, right? And you can take them with you because we're in an apartment. But I'm getting 1.5 inch rings with the little clips. So that, and I mean, it just came to me. I had a problem and just visually it just like popped in my head. But then I can hang my king size right across those clips, what's already sewed, right? And it would be hanging over my glass door like a valance or a quilt, and that way I can see my pattern. And then whenever I get the rows, you know, done, then I can just take some clips, or I can take some pins and pin them on, right? And then when I get like maybe 5 or 6 rows ready, then I'll ask my husband to lovingly unclip the quilt so that I can add these rows sewn on to the quilt. And then he can rehang it for me, which I know he's just gonna love. I'm gonna need to get him a step ladder. He can reach, but that's a whole lot of stretching, and so we'll get a step ladder and he'll do that for me. But a king size is going to hang really long, so if we put that up toward the ceiling, then, you know, I can push it over like a curtain, but whenever I need to check the pattern, I would just slide it back over like I'm closing the blinds or closing the curtain, and then I can continue to sew. I'll be able to get through that quilt a lot faster if I could do that. So we're gonna do that. He's gonna do that for me. I'm really excited. I hope the idea helps other families who have very limited space and sew for therapy, for therapeutic purposes, because that's what I do, and as long as I can do it. All right, so I found, because I have a patchwork, I think it's a 30, it's larger than a crib size, but anyway, so I have four blocks, and it starts me out on the next patchwork. So I'm thrilled to find blocks that are left over. They'll be in my stash. And then I was extra thrilled. I actually have more of this coming. So I have a, like I said, I have a niece that's actually being born today, and we're praying for her safety. So I literally can just use the same fabrics that I used on the Pinks quilt. But I am going to do a patchwork pattern. Now I did a 9 block for the sweet friend that I used this fabric for. So I do want to do something different with the same fabrics. If I'm sending something that has the same fabric pattern, I don't want to send everybody the same quilt. So, you know, like this one was a 9 block for a friend. Her quilt is a grief quilt. And then this will be the same fabric, but I will use it like a patchwork for a niece. And so I'm just waiting on the next. I think I'm buying 124 pieces this time because everybody loved this sweet pinks sets of fabric. So I don't have to go pick out anything. I can just use it. And I'm thankful because I don't have to use any kind of sashing or anything. I'm literally going to do a straight patchwork on this one, which ends up being such a sweet little quilt. All right, so I've got a good start on that quilt with those. And so anyway, so there's a quilt sitting there. There's a really good start to a twin size right there because my niece is going to get a twin size. There is a good, or a very beginning of the 4 blocks. My daughter does these, and we use them to sew 4 4s and get a 16 block out of, to put on newborn and baby quilts. Well, or any other quilt. There's a purple potato chip twin size just waiting to take place. I have the purple potato chip that's already framed blocks for my friend for a lap size of 60 by 60. I've already got her batting. I just need backing and sashing for her and her binding, and that's it. And then her quilt can be put together. So it's like, I know people are like, oh my gosh, how many do you have started? Do you go from start to finish on one, or do you have like a gazillion started? Well, here's the thing. When you don't have a job and cannot work for other people consistently because of your ailment that you have, it's very unpredictable. And it takes me down every single day in different aspects for blocks of time. Like this morning, I was up at 3:30, wide awake, ready to start my day, and then I don't know what happened. My blood pressure dropped or something, and then I was in the bed until 11:30. So you can't maintain a job like that, but I have no control over it. So anyway, so, and then I found these half blocks that half of them have sashing already on them. These just need sashing, and then I can do my next section of this quilt that's already started. But why do I start and then move on? Well, here's the thing. I've learned how to, as I'm cutting or piecing or whatever for one thing, to make the leftovers usable for other things. And so I've got to print out my charts for backing and things so that I know a crib size baby quilt needs like 1 yard to 1.5 yards. I think you can get it done with just 1 yard, but I just add 1.5 yards with the stack. And then I know a 60 by 60, I need 2 yards, 2 to 3 yards of fabric depending on how I put the fabrics together, because the 108 inches are just a little bit more expensive, and I tend to use clearance fabrics to keep it possible. And so now that things are kind of cleaned up and reorganized in the in-between, all of this was usable. These are all mug rugs, so I'm getting ready to organize all that stuff too. And actually I'll use it. I'll stack them somewhere else. They'll be on their own little, but not up here. Um, yes. Okay. So my brain is getting really tired at the moment because when you create, you're using a lot of uh, a lot of thinking ahead, a lot of thinking ahead, and visually seeing projects in completion and before they start, and visually seeing the different steps in between, what threads you're needing. As I'm looking here, I know that I need to add a canary yellow, I need black, and I need more white desperately. And I need another, oh, I need some greens. I have no green thread other than the seafoam. And so, I'm looking at the projects and things. I know I need 5 yards of Christmas fabric to back the first Christmas quilt that goes to a ministry. And I'm planning on, now she probably won't get it before Christmas. I have a friend I want to send a Christmas quilt to. She loves Christmas. Um, but I got to get all of these other things kind of wrapped up and completed. I've got one quilt for my daughter. It's a lap quilt. It's a strawberry lap quilt. I got another niece. Her strawberry lap quilt is over there. It needs batting and backing. But that poly cotton needs a serger. And so I'm waiting on my serger so I can finish those. So really it's that I'm waiting on things that will help bring those projects to completion. And so the projects will go faster as I have all the different things that I'm needing. So having said that, because that was waiting on a curtain rod and clips, I was able to continue on and, work on the pinks quilt and the red, white, and blue quilt, which shocked me, that just all of a sudden it's like, bam, the red and white top, red, white, and blue top was put together. And I was like, how did that happen? But it did. God allowed it, and it was broke up. I was working on that for more than a month, and technically you should be able to do that in a day, like start to finish. But it's what I can do and how I can do it. The the love quilt that I started, it is a poly cotton blend. It also requires a serger, so that's what I'm waiting on in order to finish that one. Because I really think it would tear at the seams if I don't use a serger and overlock it. So I'm going to listen to my inner voice. Yes. So there are a lot uh, of things coming. As soon as I finish getting everything organized, then, oh, I may even just use my cart for mug rugs. Um, that may be an even better mug rugs and, what are those things called? Coasters. That may be what that cart is used for, that turquoise cart. That way, no matter what machine any of us need to be at, we can just take the mug rug cart and put it over. Yeah, so it's just taking a little while, but because I'm doing a lot of learning as I'm going, and things that are like, this is actually a very simple concept and I understand it so much, but it's my fingers that are fumbling around, and I just have to quit for today on this one project. That's the other thing. Well, why do you have all these projects started and they're not finished? Well, I'm learning. And the things that I know how to do and that I continue on with, they'll continue to progress. And also, we're going to get out and live life and, go to church and go out, and my family goes and serves and my family goes and sings, and, we need to go to the grocery store, and my daughter and I, well, my daughter for sure is in college, you know, and I'm trying to relearn how to drive, not feeling my feet and my legs and, you know, life. So if everything is organized and staged, then I can just kind of pick up on that project later and continue on. It's probably a good thing. I just laughed on the inside. It's probably a good thing that God didn't allow me to drive for a really long season, because had I have known that I was going to love quilting this much, if you couldn't find me, that's where you would find me, is the quilt shop. So anyway, and I still have some of this fabric, but there's the inside beginning of 3 potato chip blocks. So one day when I don't have anything else going, I'll continue on and make more blocks to finish those out. Or I may sew them together and then they can become a border. I may do that. I may very well may do that and make it a very colorful patchworky border for another quilt, a feature quilt. So that's what I've got going on. And once I have it completely set up and organized, then I'll do a welcome to my sewing area video, so that you can see, you know, it's not expensive. I don't have high-end machines. I don't have, you know, and I'm doing a lot of patchwork stuff just because I have a budget and I'm trying to do as much as I can with a budget. And but I'm learning and I'm loving it. This week I will be purchasing, I think it's 30 some sewing feet, because I only have like maybe 6, and I need other types of sewing feet for my machine. And hang on just a second, that goes in there. All right, see, here's some left. I had them in a stack over there. These go with that right there. So that patchwork, because I've gotten really good at patchworks, and I know how to kiss the seams now, I think that this baby quilt will go pretty quickly. Yeah, I could probably get it done in a week, because it's just straight lines to quilt it. And I will know how to bind before well, I know how to bind if the backing is being folded over to do the binding. So I'll probably stick with that while I am trying to learn how to bind correctly using binding, which is what I'm trying to quickly learn right here to finish this last step on this one quilt. But lots of hours and minutes have been put into each, and this whole, like, building this process, but I'm only able to do things for a very small section of my day, and that being an hour. So it looks like this huge operation, or, you know, that I could do this all day long. I want to be able to do this all day long. I cannot yet, and I'm very far from it. But I do love the creativity. It is great therapy. It is great stress relieving, and it's fun to sew, to love other people. My husband is the one that funds me. So I have a budget he sets aside so that I can sew, because it has made a huge difference in my life and in my life. So I'm appreciative to him for that. But that's all I've got for right now, because I'm still working on my work table. It's all sorted, which I'm thrilled about, but I'm done with that for today too. I'll have to pick it back up tomorrow. There's good news, not working on any deadlines, because, well, I can't meet them because it depends on my body. So when I tell people I've got a quilt I just started for you, I literally tell them I cannot tell you when it will arrive, but I'll let you know when my husband comes to deliver it by hand because I don't want it to get lost in the mail. But anyway, and so as I have more volunteers that will help, then I can wrap these things a little bit quicker. But I would only do like one volunteer day a month, but I just don't have the space. Well, I have the space for one person to come, but I'm gonna have to wait for a little while until everything's organized and I get what I have out the door to love the people that these things are going out to. So anyway, I'm glad that you came by to listen to me ramble. And I have a beautiful sewing view. I kept the blinds closed today because it's over 90 degrees and I don't want the air conditioner to work harder than it needs to. Okay, thanks for stopping by.